1 week ago today is one that Sharif Adam and Ken Clackenbush of Yellowknife will never forget. While on a fishing trip to Gordon Lake, the two-seater float plane they were flying in crashed into the water and flipped. For 2 hours, they drifted and paddled the crippled plane to a nearby island. After an extremely cold and wet night without fire, they were rescued the next day. I paid Sharif a visit earlier today. Sharif, at what point did you know that you were in trouble?
It wasn't too obvious to me. I think the pilot there, Ken, he was more so, but it was more we were sitting there and he started flicking switches and I felt the plane kind of going down, and he was doing what he could, and then he just said, "Oh shoot," you know, and then mentally I kind of had an idea something was going on, but it all happened so fast that didn't really occur to me that something was happening.
How quick was your descent?
I want to say in the seconds. Thinking back now, it felt like forever. But realistically, I think it must have only been about 8 to 10 seconds. We were already pretty low to begin with.
So how did you possibly extricate yourself when you're upside down, submerged in water?
I still don't really fully understand how I gathered everything. It was, people are saying like, oh, adrenaline is a huge role, but I was so excited at the time that I don't even remember adrenaline rush. It occurred to me that I was underwater, that I needed to get out. I started, like panic set in. I started kicking and pushing myself, and it occurred that I was drowning, and that thought was there. And you just always hear, if you're drowning, the best thing you can do is remain calm. And it was hard, but then, you know, the thoughts came to for a bit. I was trying to breathe, but it was just water. And I remember gathering myself at one point and just thinking, like, I need to find the seatbelt, because that's what was, from trying to kick myself out, that was what was holding me down. And I must have hit the seatbelt somehow. They're quick release seatbelts, so that's good. And that was, yeah, pretty much was just trying to work my way through one thing at a time. But thinking wise, it was just almost automatic. Mm-hmm. You knew what I had to do, but how or anything like that was a bit of a struggle.
Were you wearing a life jacket?
I was, yeah.
So doesn't that work at cross purposes when you're upside down in the water?
It for sure probably it should, yeah. I think it definitely saved me in all aspects of it. I didn't even realize I had got my seatbelt undone. I remember, yeah, pushing myself out, trying to push myself, but obviously strapped in, but having the life jacket on. Once I got that seatbelt undone, I moved, and I could feel my body move somewhere. So something had released, and it getting out of the plane at that point. I still don't even know if the windows were blown out or if the door was open. I don't remember opening the door, but I remember the plane. Yeah, so the plane was upside down, and I remember my first instinct was to get to the wing, thinking that the wing was right side up, and I remember getting ready to push myself that way, but I just automatically floated up, and we were right there.
So tell us about that, that first cold, wet night that you had to spend alone on this island.
It was pretty, a lot of despair in it. Yeah, so thanks for Ken, he managed to get some of his stuff out, and in there he had garbage bags and a bright orange tarp. And so what we had done is we had cut down a bunch of spruce branches, the green spruce there, and kind of piled it up in just in a little low point out of the off the windy side of the island, and laid that down. Ended up, yeah, piling down those spruce, and then we had to take off. Mentally I knew that wearing the wet clothes was what was gonna get us. So we took off our pants and kind of tried to hang them out to dry, and got into the garbage bags, put a garbage bag down, got into one, put one over us, and just huddled up next to each other. It was cold, but it was definitely helped having Ken there.
So during the night or at any point, did you feel that this might be it, that maybe we won't survive this?
The hardest part was so earlier when we washed up on the shore there was planes flying around by 6:30, and you could see them way off in the distance, kind of in the general area where we had crashed. So I thought, okay, good. They know we've crashed. They know the transponder went off. They're out looking for us. And you could tell the way they kept going round and round and in a similar area. But it was just really, really hard because you would see the plane and we'd be standing there with this bright orange tarp waving it on the other side, and they just weren't looking in that area. So it was hard just thinking, like, are they going to find us? Like, we know they're looking for us, but are they going to find us, and are they going to find us tonight? Are we going to have to spend the night here? Or it didn't really occur that we would have to spend the night, but we were preparing for it. But as far as thinking if that was it, it was kind of hard to believe that we'd managed to get out of the plane in the first place. So there was hope there that we were, as long as there was both of us as well, there was hope. We had food as well, in one of the bags that Ken managed to grab had a lunch and everything in there, so we were somewhat prepared.
So tell us about the first initial contact with your rescuers and what was said.
There was big hugs, but not much was said. It was kind of hard to speak at the time. It was pretty emotional, and I think there was a lot of shock too. I don't think they just had no idea what had happened, and because we didn't come back the night before and the searches were still ongoing, I don't think there was much hope of what had happened, that we had survived. And I think there was some shock as well that we were standing and walking around and more or less fully functional.
Has this incident changed you in any way, Sharif?
It's hard to say yet. I feel maybe a little more relaxed in a sense, like just being at home and stuff like that. It just makes me feel less tense, or just more relaxed. That I'm more thankful, I guess, the people around and the support and stuff. But it might be. I think it's still yet to fully hit me, but. As far as change goes, I haven't really felt too much different yet.
Well, it's only been 1 week.
Yeah, I guess a week today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sharif, it's so nice to chat with you a week on.
Yeah.
And that you're able to be here and share with us the ordeal you went through.
Yeah.
And you came out on the winning side.
Yeah.
So,
somehow, yeah.
So thanks a lot for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview too. Appreciate it.